For most of my life, I thought I had it figured out. Not flashy, not dull, just steady. After 25 years of marriage, Sophia and I had built a quiet rhythm. Morning coffee together, a quick call during lunch, shared dinners, and winding down with a glass of wine after the evening news. It wasn't glamorous, but it was ours, and I truly believed it worked. Our children were both away at college now, and while the house sometimes felt too quiet, we filled the silence with inside jokes, old memories, and the kind of comfort that only comes from knowing someone for decades. I thought she knew me better than anyone alive. Then, one Thursday evening, everything shifted. We were curled up on the couch like usual, the TV playing silently. She held the remote in her hand, not really watching. Then, she turned to me and asked, "Can I ask you something without you flipping out?" I laughed, thinking it was one of her oddball questions. "Of course. What's up?" She gave a nervous laugh, then said, "I'm serious. Just hear me out." I nodded. Then she dropped it. "What would you think about opening our marriage?" At first, I genuinely thought she was kidding. I waited for her to grin or laugh. But nothing came. Her expression was still. Serious. "Wait, what are you saying exactly?" I asked, trying to steady my voice. She turned to face me, folding her arms. "Like a hall pass. Or maybe something we try together, just once. Nothing too deep. Just an experience." That word, experience, landed like a cold weight in my stomach. "You're serious?" I asked. "I'm not saying we do it," she said quickly. "Just talk about it." My chest tightened. I tried to remain calm. "Where's this coming from?" I asked. She looked down. "I don't know. We've been together for a long time. I love you, Bruce." "I do. But maybe we're a little too comfortable." "You mean bored?" "That's not what I said," she snapped, but her meaning was clear. She started talking about wanting to feel something different, not instead of me, but with me. "It's not about someone else," she added. "It's about us trying something new." I couldn't look at her. I stared blankly at the screen, not seeing it at all. That night, I lay next to her in bed, staring at the ceiling while she slept soundly. To her, it was a conversation. To me, it was an earthquake. For the next few days, I waited. Maybe she'd bring it up again. Maybe she'd say it was just a thought, something that slipped out after too much wine. But nothing. She acted like the conversation never happened. Like she hadn't just cracked open the very foundation of what we'd built together. By Sunday, it was too much. We were in the kitchen doing the dishes together, like any normal evening. I shut the dishwasher a little harder than I meant to. "You all right?" she asked, eyeing me. "No," I replied honestly. She leaned back against the counter, folding her arms, again. "You're still thinking about it, aren't you?" "Of course I am," I said, my voice sharper than intended. "You asked if we could start sleeping with other people, Sophia. That's not something I can just laugh off over coffee." She let out a sigh. "It was just an idea. We don't have to blow it out of proportion." I stepped closer, trying to keep my composure. "Not a big deal. You suggested bringing a third person into our marriage. After 25 years. That's not a passing thought, Sophia. That's an emotional wrecking ball." Her expression hardened. "You're being dramatic." "No," I said, keeping my voice level. "I'm being honest. You want me to sit back and watch while you connect with someone else? Or worse, pretend I'm into it?" "That's not what I said," she fired back. "You said we could experience it together. What does that even mean?" She paused before replying. "Couples do this all the time, Bruce. It's not the end of the world." "It is for me," I said without hesitation. In that moment, I looked at her, and she looked different. Not older, not unfamiliar, just like someone I didn't know anymore. The sparkle in her eyes wasn't for me. And then she said the words that sealed it. "You're just afraid of change." That hit harder than anything else. It wasn't just an idea anymore. It was a mindset, something that had likely been growing in her for a while, invisible to me. I wanted to believe it was just a phase, maybe a midlife identity crisis. Maybe the quiet house and the routine had twisted something inside her. But then I noticed more signs. Her phone constantly buzzing, gym visits that didn't leave her sweaty, errands that required full makeup and heels. And the smile, that little private smile she wore when she thought I wasn't looking. Something was going on. And I wasn't crazy. I didn't want to snoop. I swear I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. But one night, as she dozed off on the couch, her laptop sat open beside her. The screen hadn't locked yet. Her profile was still signed in, not under her real name, just a vague icon and a username that had part of our wedding date in it. My stomach sank. Curiosity got the better of me. I clicked. What I found wasn't just one random post. It was a whole double life. Swinger forums, private message threads, group invites, posts she had liked, about partner swaps, event nights, and explicit discussions that made my skin crawl. I scrolled slowly, unable to stop myself. Then I saw the message. Can't wait to see you Saturday night. Finally meeting you in person. Saturday. 2 days away. She already had it planned. The part that crushed me? She hadn't even told me yet. Not really. That one vague conversation on the couch? That wasn't a discussion. That was a warning bell I ignored. 2 nights later, I was in the kitchen pouring myself a drink, trying to steady my nerves. She entered the room in a red dress I hadn't seen in years. Hairstyled, makeup perfect, nails freshly done. She looked radiant. And it wasn't for me. Big plans tonight. I asked as calmly as I could. She smiled. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about it. I raised an eyebrow. There's this event, she said, brushing a loose curl behind her ear. Kind of a party. Just for open-minded couples. I stared. What kind of party? She didn't flinch. A swingers party. I pretended not to know. A what? A swinger party, she said again, like she was inviting me to a cooking class. I was going to tell you sooner, she added. I wanted to invite you. We could have gone together. You could have watched or joined in. I froze. You want me to watch you with someone else? She rolled her eyes. Bruce, don't be so old-fashioned. It's not cheating if we agree on it. We'd be in it together. You made plans before even talking to me. I knew how you'd react. You're damn right you did, I said. Because you know we're supposed to be partners. You don't drop something like this on me and expect me to just go along. Her tone shifted. You're stuck in the past. People do this now. It's meant to bring couples closer. I took a slow breath, fighting the anger boiling up in my chest. Do you really believe that? Yes, she said. And I want to try it. With you. I looked her dead in the eyes. If you walk out that door tonight and go to that party, don't come back. Not tomorrow. Not ever. She blinked. You're serious? More than I've ever been. There was a pause. A moment where maybe, just maybe, she'd rethink it. But she didn't. She let out a breath, grabbed her purse, and walked right past me. Didn't even say goodbye. The door closed. And this time, the silence in the house felt like it might never end. I didn't follow her. Didn't call. Didn't argue. I just stood there in the kitchen, staring at the spot where she'd been. One moment we were partners. The next, strangers. I stayed up for hours, the house dark, my thoughts louder than anything on TV. At 1:42 a.m., I heard the garage door creak open. Her car rolled in. She was home. But I wasn't, not really. I didn't ask where she had been. I didn't need to. I listened instead. The click of her heels on the floor, the rattle of keys in the bowl, the fridge door opening and closing, the clink of a glass. Then, footsteps again. Calm. Like she was returning from the grocery store. She peeked into the living room and asked casually, still up? I said nothing. She hovered a moment, waiting for some kind of response. When none came, she gave a soft sigh, like I was the problem, and walked down the hallway toward our bedroom. I remained on the couch, frozen in thought. Sleep never came. My body was still, but my mind kept spinning. Out of habit more than anything else, I picked up my phone and opened my photo gallery. Not sure why. I just needed to see something that made sense. Old pictures filled the screen. Birthdays, vacations, our kids blowing out candles, Sophia smiling in sunlight. Then I saw it. A new video file. No title, just a timestamp. 2 hours ago. My heart dropped. I'd forgotten that our devices were still synced. So had she. I tapped the file with trembling fingers. It opened to a dim hotel room. Low red lighting. A wine bottle on the nightstand. And then, her. Sophia. Wearing the bracelet I gave her on our 15th anniversary. She smiled into the camera, laughing, voice tipsy. Film this for me, she said, to someone off screen. I want to remember it. And then they appeared. 3 men. Shirtless. Circling her like she was some prize to be won. She welcomed it. Let them touch her. Kissed one, then the next. Whispered something into the third one's ear that made him grin. She looked ecstatic. Alive. More than I'd seen in years. And not once, did she look like someone thinking about home. Or about me. I stopped the video before it ended. That was enough. More than enough. She hadn't just crossed a line. She danced on it. And filmed it. With a smile. The next morning, I emerged from the guest room. I hadn't slept. Just laid there, staring at the ceiling while that video played over and over in my mind. Sophia was already in the kitchen, humming softly as she poured coffee. She moved like someone coming back from a relaxing getaway, not like someone who had detonated our marriage the night before. When she saw me, she smiled and slid a mug across the counter. "Morning," she said, like everything was fine. "I was thinking we could take a drive later. Maybe grab lunch by the lake." I didn't answer, just stared at her. The smile faded a little. "What?" she asked, her tone quieter now. I placed my phone on the table. "Sit," I said. She hesitated, but something must have flickered in her memory. Her eyes narrowed, just briefly. The cloud sync. The shared devices. The video. She sat. I unlocked the screen and played it. Full volume. No skipping. Just let it run. She didn't try to stop it. She watched herself, laughing, undressing, being touched by strangers. Like we weren't even a thought in her mind. When it ended, I locked the screen and looked up at her. She whispered, "I didn't know it would upload." "I don't care," I said coldly. "You still went. You still did it. And you smiled the whole time." Tears welled up in her eyes. She reached across the table for my hand, but I pulled back. "I made a mistake," she said quickly. I wanted to feel something new. I didn't mean to hurt you." "No," I said. "That wasn't a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to turn off the oven. What you did was planned." She stood and began pacing, rambling about how she'd been feeling lost and unsure of who she was. Said she wanted to fix things, go to therapy, hit the reset button. I asked her just one question. "Then why were you smiling?" Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. I stood. I wasn't angry anymore. Just numb. "I'm done." She rushed to block my path. "Please don't do this. We have a family, a life. You can't throw it all away over one night." "You threw it away the second you left this house," I said, brushing past her. She called after me, her voice cracking, crying, begging. I didn't turn back. Not this time. That night, I just drove. No destination. Just miles of asphalt beneath me and the night sky above. It was quiet, too quiet, but it matched the silence inside me. My phone vibrated constantly. Calls, messages, voicemails, all from her. Apologies, explanations, desperate words that meant nothing now. One message stuck out more than the rest. It didn't mean anything, but I'd seen the video. I saw how she looked at them, the way she touched them, the way she smiled, not out of obligation, but from real, reckless joy. That smile wasn't meant for me. Around 3 a.m., I found myself parked on the edge of the park we used to take the kids to when they were little. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stared at the empty swings and let the cold air fill the car. And then, I typed out one final message. "There's nothing left to talk about. I'll be filing in the morning." Then I blocked her number. Instantly, it felt like someone had cut the anchor I'd been dragging for years. The next morning, I walked into my lawyer's office with a flash drive in hand. I didn't go in seeking revenge. I went in looking for peace. And that video? It said everything I couldn't. That same day, I shut down all the shared accounts, canceled our credit cards, changed the locks on the house, and packed up everything she owned. I placed the boxes outside on the porch. When she came home later and saw it, she didn't say a word. She just picked up what she could and drove off. I told our kids we'd talk when they were ready. I explained the truth to my sister, to Marcus, my closest friend. I didn't hide, because none of this was my shame to carry. She came back 2 days later, stood on the porch, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. She stood behind the screen door, shoulders slumped, face pale, and eyes rimmed with red. The confident, polished version of Sophia I'd seen before was gone. What stood there now was someone unsure of what to say, someone who knew she'd pushed too far. "Bruce," she began, her voice raw. I panicked. "I didn't know how to talk to you, how to say what I was feeling." I nodded slowly. That would have been a good place to start. She wiped at her face, trying to collect herself. "I thought if I did something wild, something crazy, maybe I'd feel alive again." "And did you?" I asked quietly. She looked down. "No, I just feel sick." Her eyes drifted past me, to the house behind. "Can I come in?" I shook my head. "Not anymore." She stepped back, like I'd struck her. The silence between us was heavy, stretching too long. "What about the kids?" she asked softly. "They'll know," I replied. "And they'll decide how they feel. I won't speak for them." She opened her mouth to say something else, but I was done. I didn't need another excuse, another plea, another promise to do better. So I closed the door. And that was the last time she ever stood on my porch. 6 months later, the divorce was final. Fast, cold, brutal. She cried during mediation, begged the lawyers to delay the process, said we could fix things. But the damage was too visible. That video, there was no walking it back. We split everything cleanly. I kept the house. She moved into a small condo off the freeway. I didn't ask how she was affording it. I didn't care. The kids struggled with it at first. That part hurt. But I never said a bad word about their mother. They saw what they needed to see and formed their own opinions. Time passed. The house got quieter. Not empty, just peaceful. I started doing small things I hadn't realized I missed. Long walks in the mornings. Sitting outside for lunch. Watching the sun set without a phone buzzing or a conversation draining me. For a while, it felt foreign, like I was a visitor in my own life. Then one day I laughed. Not a polite smile or a forced chuckle. A real laugh. It caught me off guard, like I'd just remembered how to breathe again. One afternoon while taking out the trash, my neighbor Dean called over the fence. "Hey Bruce, can I say something?" I nodded. "It's about Sophia. Before everything happened, I used to see her leaving during the day. A guy in a black car picked her up a few times a week. Same guy each time. I didn't want to interfere, but after the divorce, he trailed off, visibly uncomfortable. You didn't do anything wrong," I said. But inside, a piece of the puzzle clicked into place. It hadn't just been that night at the hotel. She'd been slipping away for a long time. The party was just the moment she stopped hiding it. Strangely, I didn't feel pain anymore. I felt release. She wasn't confused. She wasn't lost. She had made a choice, and instead of honesty, she chose secrecy. She left piece by piece until there was nothing of her left here. But I was still standing, still present, still hopeful. That evening, I sat on the front porch with a drink in hand, watching the sun melt into the horizon. The porch we once shared, where we planned vacations, imagined grandkids, joked about growing old together. Now it was just me. And you know what? It didn't feel lonely. It felt like freedom. If this story hit you in the heart, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life drama and emotional journeys.